Hey everyone, thanks for joining back for the final part of the review of the Giraffe360. And today I'm going to go through the results and look at how it compares to, say, an iGuide and versus what you can take on a DSLR. And you know what? If you've watched the last video, you've probably seen that, yes, my main complaint of the Giraffe360 is that it takes a long time to do the scans, and therefore it's going to take you a long time to get through a house. But like I said in the video, wait to see what the results are and then make up your mind. And you might actually be surprised. Stick to the very end and I'll let you know whether or not I'm going to be using it within my business, and if so, how I'm going to be using it, and as well who I actually recommend that the Giraffe360 be used for here in North America. Okay, so it doesn't apply to all places out there, but at least here, and I'll tell you why, the whys of that a little bit later on as well in this video, okay? All right, stay tuned, let's go. All right, first thing I wanna do is go in and actually see the results. Here it is. We got the emails at 4:11 p.m. stating that the photos were done. Now, going back and looking at the actual video, that works out to be around 3 hours after we had finished uploading that we got the photos back. And then from there, we got another email that evening at 2:46 a.m. So almost 12 hours after the upload was completed, we got the final virtual tour. So now let's take a look at what that actually looks like. Here we are in the dashboard. When we click on the project, we've got our floor plans, virtual tour, still photos, and then videos. Now the videos are part of the thing that really enticed me to try and play with this program. But once I go in, you'll notice that it still says cinematic video and virtual drone video, and it has generate on them. I haven't clicked on them yet because I wanted to see how long that would take, and I want to show you that yes, those are not standard in terms of what you get right away when you upload your content. So I'm going to press on generate for both of these. We're just going to wait, and hopefully by the time that we are through a part of this video, we may have something. But as you can see, it says generating may take up to 24 hours. So let's step back here. If you've got a client that wants everything really quick, like, hey, I want it done today and I want the photos tomorrow, or I want the photos the same day. Well, photos, yes, we've shown that we can get the photos done within the same day. But when it comes to video and floor plans, it may take a little bit longer. So just keep that in mind. Going back, with the floor plans, we've got all 3 floors on here, and they actually look really nice. The only thing that I would say about these floor plans that I'm not a big fan of is the fact that we do not have the actual cabinets shown. You'll see that we've got one of the appliances shown. We've got the range here and we got the sink. We don't have the fridge, we don't have the dishwasher, nor do we have the countertops in the bathrooms either. And this shower stall looks a little crooked. It's not square, and I don't know why that would be. As well, you know, you look at the laundry room, and it is missing the actual washer and dryer in there, though it does show the sink, which is nice. Let me just skip forward to the stills. Now, these stills, you saw me where I was standing and where I was taking them from, and they looked very processed. You'll see that they have a lot of brightness to them. They have that perfect window pull like you see with most of the Asian editors out there, and I think that's not a bad thing if that is what your clients are looking for. Not all photographers like this look, but then again, some realtors like it, some clients like it, so it's all up to what the preferences are of your clients in your area, and who am I to judge what people want and think, right? So as well, I'm going to take these later on and do a side-by-side comparison between this and what I took. And I'll give you a little bit of critique as to why I think my photos are better and why I think my process is better, because of course I've been doing this for 15 years and I am using the process that I've developed and that I'm selling on a course, and so why wouldn't I promote my own workflow, right? Okay, so aside from that, let's get back and take a look at the virtual tour. Now, one thing I do like about this virtual tour, in terms of the colors and the design, Giraffe360 has done something that is very, very different from all the other virtual tour companies, in that they have actually processed all of the 360s. So all of these 360s look exactly processed like the photos or the interior photos. So you've got the same kind of window pulls, you get the same kind of lighting, and you'll notice that the ceilings are all white. This part I really like. Remember that that pantry that we had? So we shot it where the pantry door was closed for most of it. So if this was a Matterport, we couldn't have done this because the Matterport needs to be able to see one way, see through things, right? For them, they just put an arrow with a door on it saying, hey, here's a door. You want to go through? Take a look. Now, this is crazy. See how the inside is just as bright as out here. God, when we were there, halfway through the scan, the lights on the inside of this room turned off. And that was kind of concerning to me because my first thought was, oh my gosh, yes, considering how long the scan takes, if the automatic lights like that are in timer and they turn off, what happens then? Well, here's your answer. It keeps scanning and looks good. And especially, and here, where inside this pantry was quite dark and outside was quite bright, to be able to get this so you can still see outside, like there's a good window pull, that's quite incredible. And I don't see any seams in terms of, you know, where they edited that in terms of, you know, light area, dark area, and it looks pretty good. I'm quite impressed with this. It looks very polished and clean. One thing I gotta say is that it does feel a little high. If I've got my view here perfectly lined up in terms of the verticals, then it feels like I'm shooting really high. Some people like this height. I personally like it just a slight bit lower to make the rooms look bigger. And I've mentioned this in my course. If you want to make a room look bigger, lower your tripod. That is just like when you're shooting kids. If you want to make a kid look really small, shoot them from above. If you want to make them look taller, shoot them from below. Aside from that, one thing that I don't like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm just not used to this. So in a Matterport or in an iGuide, they show all the little hotspots, right? So there could be one in the corner over here that I could just jump to. There could be one in the front hall that I could jump to. With Giraffe360, it looks like it's just offering the one that is closest to you so that you don't do that like warp from one room to another or to another floor kind of thing, which is, I guess in a sense that's kind of nice because there have been times where I want to click on this one, but then instead in an iGuide it would jump me to say another room. And I know iGuide's been working on that as well, and with any technology it always is going to become one of those like, here's a critique, then they're gonna fix it, right? So maybe that's just something in the works there. Maybe iGuide's already fixed it. Maybe I'm just old and just, no. One thing that you're gonna notice is that as I start panning, the map here changes as well. So it's very interactive and it is turning with us. Now, this is the part that I'm really interested in, is the bathrooms. One of the things that you have to do in an iGuide as, oh, look at that. You know what's missing here? It's missing the camera. If you remember where we shot this, it was, well, right here. We should see a camera in the reflection. But Giraffe360 has actually eliminated that. Now, I've got one more in here. Let's go to that scan there. And that one's from inside the shower. And again, the camera has been removed, which is fantastic. That is one thing that you cannot do in, say, like a Matterport. In an iGuide, you can, but you actually have to take the 360 panorama, take it into Photoshop, Photoshop out the camera, and then put it back into the stitch. Whereas here, it's done automatically, so that's great. I love it. I love that. This is kind of cool too, the fact that you can zoom into the floor plan like this. Okay. All right, now I'm back in the hallway. what does it look like when we go upstairs? Oh, I guess I gotta go to that one here. And now will it show it? There it is. So we've got the stairs there. We can go up. And we can take a look inside. Alright. Yeah. And again, you can tell that it looks highly processed there with window pulled windows. And again, let's see. I purposefully put the Giraffe360 over to the side because I didn't want to catch it in the mirror, but I guess that's not a consideration anymore. I don't have to worry about that. But look at that. They even got the Giraffe360 out of the reflection in the window here, of the glass. So that's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm quite impressed with that. All right, so let's go back down to the lower floor, and I want to see if they've done anything else. Let's take a look at the garage. Oh, that's cool. Check this out. Okay, so in the actual garage, it's not a blurry poster like that. It's actually a person's face with information on there. Giraffe360 has automatically blurred that out. So you don't have to blur out people's photos anymore. Let's check this one out because I know there's another one here. Yep, there it is. It's blurred out that photo of people. And this one, that's blurry as well. Now, well, this is interesting. Look at how much detail and how close up we can get to everything. Look at that. That is quite incredible. Oh, and this one here is just blurring out her face. That's really cool. The fact that it's just doing that for you automatically is ridiculously cool. And again, blurred out on this one. Those ones are blurred out. Wow. And the amount of detail that we can get into and look at here is quite astonishing. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay, so very, very impressive in terms of the 360 capabilities. Now, with the colors, this is a fairly simple house in that it is white walls, white ceiling, furniture is mostly white, so we don't have a lot of issues with, say, color contamination. If we were to do this in, say, a log home with blue furniture, that might be a different story, especially if it's on a cloudy day. Maybe that's going to be my next review. What does it look like if you get into a house that is mostly wood and has blue furniture? If I can find that, I'll try and do a test on it. One thing I like about this is that when you go into, say, your photos, you can actually edit them. It's not like you're in Photoshop. This is a much easier interface. So you've got your blurs, so you can blur, say, whatever's on the TV. And so if you do have a shot where it does have some private information that you want to hide, you can definitely hide that. But this is the one that is interesting. So you just go into the adjustments, and now you can adjust your exposure, saturation, vibrance, just like you would see on, say, an iPhone. Right? So it's not as complex as, say, Lightroom or Photoshop, but it has the power of the editing software that you'd find on a smartphone there. It comes with a whole set of different presets that you can use, or you can create your own, and that's what I would do. I would probably lower my exposure a bit, and then I would take down my contrast. Saturation and vibrance, I would just take that down just a little bit. Temperature is fine. Highlights, I always like to increase my highlights a bit. And then sharpen, just a little bit. So that's kind of the look that I would be going for. And then, of course, I can save that. And I can call that my Calgary Photos standard, right? So now I've got a standard that I like. I can apply that to all of them. Go down, Calgary Photos. There. So it's a little bit more muted, and I feel that's a little bit more balanced. Anyways, so once you're able to do that, you can go back, go into your presets, and now create a preset with those. So I'm going to go with Calgary Photos for all my indoor stuff, and then I'm going to save it. So that next time when I do a shoot, it's going to automatically apply my settings to this, and I won't have to go into each individual photo and do that. Now as well, I like how they did this, where they've actually changed it from indoor and outdoor. So instead of having the standard there, I can make one for myself for outdoors and get a different kind of look. And with the virtual tours, it too has different kind of presets that you can apply. You can have it so that it does show your mini map in the tour. And that is this mini map here. You can have it show the room areas or take it off. The welcome screen, that was what we saw here. And so you do get a chance to change and have a say in how your virtual tour will look like, which I think is great. So I'm just gonna save and close that, and to the next one. Property website. Let's see. Again, you've got all the things that you can put in there, and notice how it says a price, address, bedrooms, all that stuff there. All right, we're gonna get back to that because there is a section here where you can put in all the property details as well. Okay, let's go to floor plan. This is interesting because now we can take the floor plans and really go in and edit them. So this is interesting here. You can show secondary units, and what that means is that you can either show it in imperial or you can show it in metric or both. That's kind of, I find that nice to have. Here in terms of room measurements, you can actually have the dimensions here showing like that, or you can have the area showing. So the total square footage, and then you can also have none. Personally, I like having the dimensions. Most of my clients are probably going to want to have dimensions anyways, so I'm going to keep it on that. Floor color. Now, unlike, say, iGuide, which has different palettes that you can choose for your floor plans in terms of colors, this one just has colored or white. And in this case, I'm just going to go with white because that is going to provide my clients the best opportunity to use this with their marketing and not have my colors or the giraffe's colors contrast with, say, their branding colors. Display sidebar. The sidebar there, it has all this information on it. It has your finished above grade. Calculations reference the ANSI standard and are approximate and not to scale. This floor plan is intended for illustration only. Now, I have yet to find on here whether or not I can change any of that information. And for myself, this doesn't work simply because, yes, I understand that it's ANSI. Yes, I understand that they use 6 inches, but I need floor plans that are done doing a different standard. In Alberta, Canada, we have a standard called RECA RMS, which stands for the Real Estate Council of Alberta Residential Measurement Standard. And with that, they require you to actually measure the exterior wall and figure out exactly what that wall thickness is. And in some places, we've got a 4.5 inch wall. Some places we've got a 6.5 inch wall, and some places we even have an 8-inch wall. So depending on what the wall thickness is, obviously if we're going to be measuring from the exterior wall in, that thickness is going to have a major impact on the total square footage. Here, it's assuming that it is 6 inches, which, yes, you can say that, but just assuming that it's 6 inches doesn't mean that it is 6 inches. It would be nice if they could actually change it so that we could change what the actual wall thickness was. All right. The other thing is that it is going off of the ANSI standard there, and so the easy question is, can you change the standard? And the answer is yes, you can. And to change that, all we need to do is go into the property data and go to measurements and change that to one of the 4 that they have. Now, there's only 4. And like I said, my measurement standard of RECA RMS is not on here. So simply based on that, I cannot use this for taking measurements of places in Alberta in Canada. So that's one province in one country of 40 million people that we cannot use this for this purpose. But that doesn't mean that you can't use it in your area. Okay, now let's get back to the project itself. The other things that we can do on this is we can change the property description and add property data. So with property data, we can add the address, we can add the information such as the number of floors, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, property type, and as well the price of the property. And that will obviously come up in that website that we were talking about. And here, contact information, again, you can put all of your agent's information in there. And what I see is that I can import information from a user. Now, I don't know if this is like where you can add a realtor onto the platform so that they can check out their analytics and all of that, like you can in iGuide or in Matterport, but I'm assuming so. I haven't tried it because, of course, I don't have a client to send this to check that out. So that we're just going to leave as a unknown for now. And then, of course, you've got your areas, and I find this one interesting because I can actually change my square footage, which I find very interesting. I can change the square footage here. I can make that, say, 1,900 square feet if I want to in the kitchen. I can apply that. And then let's go to here where we go to the cogwheel. And instead of displaying the dimensions, let's go to area. And you can see that the area here has changed to 1,939 square feet, which is obviously incorrect, but it doesn't change this number here. One of the things that I would like to see is, in case this number was wrong, I'd want to be able to change that. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be able to let me change the actual dimensions, just the total square footage. So while I like the ability to change things, because sometimes, machines get it wrong and it is a different size, it would be nice to be able to change it here. But then it brings up the question of, well, if I change it here, does it change the total square footage of the place? And if it doesn't change the total square footage of the place, then why would you change just the interior dimensions? Is the total square footage measured differently? Right? So it starts bringing up this question of validity and of accuracy. All right, so now let's get back. It's been around an hour. Let's see if the videos are done. They're not, but let's take a look at this tour video that comes with the original processing right away. You can see that it's got the square footage on there, and let's take a look at this.
This generous property boasts 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and encompasses a total of 2,394 square feet of living space. Focusing on the bedroom, it is a spacious retreat of 217 square feet designed for comfort and serenity. The room includes a central bed for easy movement, a dresser for storage, and a cozy chair for relaxation, enhancing comfort and functionality. This room also features a cozy bed, essential storage, and a reading nook, making it ideal for comfort and personalization. Crafted for relaxation and practicality, this space boasts a cozy bed, vital storage, and a welcoming reading nook for maximum comfort. Now let's explore the closet area, which features built-in shelves.
So you'll probably notice that all of this is written by AI based on what it sees, and it's just like having like a sports narrator narrating what it sees. So is it a good video? Considering that it's just made automatically with AI, I think it's not bad. Is it great? No. But will it do? Yes. So depending on what price point that you're going to be providing this product on, this may just be enough for what you're giving, right? So let's keep watching till the end.
Hanging space for organized storage of clothing and accessories. Moving on, the workspace provides a large desk for ample work area, comfortable chairs for extended hours, and organized storage, perfect for productivity.
All right, so that is it. So that was the AI generated video tour. We probably would have to edit that. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can edit it. So that is nice. Oh, it has all the text in there. Great. So you can get rid of things like this remove scene, because I didn't want that, and I didn't want this scene. Okay, so let's see, what else can we edit? Can we edit the edit voiceover text? Let's change this to see. This is just a closet. Apply. Processing voiceover. Voiceover generation failed. Well, that's too bad. That was promising for a bit. So hopefully that is something that will be fixed, and that final video. And as well, once the cinematic videos are done and the virtual drone videos are done, I'll take a quick look at those as well. Hopefully it won't take too long. Now, like I promised, I am going to go and take the photos here, download them, and let's compare them side by side with the photos that I took. Okay, so here we are in Lightroom. I've got these ones that are highlighted in green. Those are the ones that I took, and then these ones here are the ones that were taken by Giraffe360. So I'm going to first take that living room one and compare those side by side. This shot here, I would say they're, it's pretty good. I like it. But then again, let's look at the image size here. So this was shot on a 5D Mark III, which is still a 23 megapixel camera. And then versus what we got here, which is 4000 by 300. So that's around a 12 megapixel. 22 megapixels, 12 megapixels. Okay, so we do have quite a bit of a size difference. And so obviously what that means is for most clients, that will limit them to what size they can print them to. I personally like to send all of my photos out to my clients at 18 megapixels, because at 18 megapixels you can do an 11 by 17 print at 300 dpi, which is exactly the size that you need for a regular magazine double page spread. When you open up a magazine and it covers 2 pages, right? So that is what you can get with 18 megapixels. 12, that's not quite enough. But then again, if it is just going onto MLS and just being printed on little feature sheets, that's probably more than enough. Okay, let's check out this dining room one here. Now, with the dining room, I've just switched this around. So the one on the left now is the one from Giraffe, and the one on the right is by me. And what you'll notice is that the comment that I had while I was shooting this was that we couldn't zoom in any more than 110 degrees. Whereas with this one here, I've got it at a 26 mil. So I am zooming in a lot more. And that's going to become important in larger places with bigger rooms, because you don't always want them to look cavernous. And you'll notice that on the photo on the left, that dining room table actually starts to look small. Next set, we've got the kitchen. And again, it is all about, are we able to zoom in more? Now, yes, some people are going to say, well, why don't you just crop in here? And yes, you could do that, but once you start cropping into the image from a 12 megapixel image, then all of a sudden you are now at 2000. Let's see now, this is around a 3000 by 2000. And so that would make it around a 6 megapixel image. From a photography standpoint, I still like using the DSLR. You have a lot more control, and you do have a lot more control in terms of the angle of view. And the other thing that I found with the Giraffe360 is that you can't do detail shots. And the reason you can't do detail shots is, for example, if you want to take a shot of the sink or of the range itself or of a dishwasher and get shots like these, the camera itself won't be able to do it. You would still have to use a DSLR or a mirrorless camera to get those kinds of shots. Now let's take a look at the videos that were generated. I got the emails back at midnight 30 here and midnight 58. It did take quite a bit of time to get those done. So obviously these are not ones that we can get done the same day for your client. So it does take around half a day to get those done. But let's take a look and see what they look like. like the AI rendered video kind of look. There is a horizontal version of it as well. So not just the vertical, but you get the horizontal version of it. That's quite impressive. All right, let's take a look at the next video here, the drone video. So we'll do the vertical first. Okay, so we can see a little bit of artifacting there. Whoa. But that's cool. Definitely like an FPV drone going through a property. Now you can see a little bit of that artifacting happening, for sure. All right, now let's just take a quick look at that in the horizontal preview instead. It looks a little jarring in the vertical. And it still looks a little jarring in the horizontal as well. So let's see what we can do to edit this. Unlike the other video, it doesn't look like there is the option to be able to, add. This looks like it would be the end scene for, or like, you know, the call to action cards that you can put on the end. I guess we have to just make them, don't we? Add scene. I don't know how to do that. I'll have to ask tech support on how to do that. But in terms of the main building here, adjust screen region. Okay, so that's just cutting the clip rather than being able to change angles or anything. So I guess in a sense this is all very automated. There's not much we can do in terms of the direction or the angles or anything like that, but you know, it's still pretty cool. I guess this is one of those, like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't kind of things. And you either got to take it or leave it. But I do like the cinematic video one because that one does come out looking quite nice, both in horizontal and vertical. A lot of clients will really enjoy that. Okay, so let's talk about pricing of the Giraffe360 Pro Cam and see if it's worth it compared to what else we've got out there, all right? On their site, they have the Giraffe Pro camera pricing right here, and it says unlimited usage, unlimited fair usage, up to 60 projects per cam per month. So I always love it when companies are like, it's unlimited, but you get 60 a month. It's like, well, isn't 60 a limit? Maybe you and I have a different idea as to what unlimited means. But then I thought about it, and it is actually unlimited in the fact that you can have as many scans as you would like to have. So why is that important? Because let's compare that to, say, something like a Matterport, which is also on a monthly subscription plan. So with a Matterport, you would be able to scan something and then you need to be able to host it, because it's not like an HTML file, or it's not like a picture where you can download it and have it forever, right? It is something that requires a back end to be able to process properly. And so Matterport charges based on, and you can look at their website and play around with this yourself, but you'll see that it is roughly, if we were to do that 60 mark, we're looking anywhere between 50 and 70. So you're looking around $191 per month to get 60 scans. Now with Matterport, when they say 75 or 60 or 75, these numbers, it is for active scans. And what that means is that if you do 60 places and you're hosting 60 places and none of those 60 places have sold, and you want to do 60 spaces again the next month, then you're going to have to increase this number. And whether you're on the business side or on the professional side, that number goes now up to, say, 120, right? So 60 plus 60, 120. So on the professional side, you're looking at $302 per month. On the business side, now you're looking at $323. And this is where the Giraffe Pro saying it's unlimited means unlimited. You can have as many scans active and going on your plan as you like, though on any certain month you can put on as much as 60 projects per camera per month. With the Giraffe360 Pro package, it does actually come with the camera. And that is something that is completely different from a lot of these other companies out there. For example, if we look at the Matterport camera, on top of their monthly subscription fees, you have to buy their camera. And so let's take a look. The cheapest one they can get is just the Matterport Pro 3 itself, and that is $6,000 US. They did have a Matterport Pro 2. You can probably still find them online used, and I've found them used for around $500 to $1,000 Canadian. So you're probably going to be finding them around $500 US use on Marketplace or something like that. But still, there is that initial amount that you have to put out. You could go and do the 360 camera method by using a Ricoh Theta Z1, but still we're looking at $1,000 there. And the problem with that is that the Ricoh Theta, if you scratch the lens, break the lens, anything like that, you just have to buy a new camera. They don't actually replace the lens. You can't actually fix it. There is another camera, Insta365X, that you can replace the camera on, and that goes for around $550 US, and you can use that camera to do Matterports. But again, here we are. We've got another output right from the beginning where you have to buy the camera before you're able to do the work. And so there's an initial cost there. And the same thing goes with an iGuide, because with the iGuide, you have to buy one of their Planix machines, whether it's the R1 or where's the Planix Core. And if you buy the Planix Core, you still have to get a Ricoh Theta Z1 to put into it. So, you know, it says $1,500 here. You're still looking at another $1,000 to put that Ricoh Theta on. So you're looking around $2,500 to get started. iGuide costs $2,500 roughly to get started. The Matterport would cost around $550 at the very least to get started. And with the Giraffe360, you're starting off with around $360 per month. And that includes the camera, the tripod, and it includes the monthly subscription, so you can host as many scans as you like. Now, it does say that it is limited to 60 scans per camera per month. If you've watched my last video, I think doing 60 scans a month would be quite ambitious, considering how much time it takes to do a scan. I think realistically, based on the time it takes to do the scans, but secondly, the battery life. We were at that house for around 2 hours, and in that time, the battery life went from 61% down to around 13% when we got home. So we're looking around half of the battery life for a 2,500 square foot place. If it's going to take half the battery life in one place, the most you could probably do is 2, and you would still have to be charging while you're driving from the first place to the second place, which isn't ideal. So the battery capacity, the time it takes to scan a place, yeah, I think doing 60 a month would be quite ambitious, unless of course you were only using it to do photos. So instead of doing the whole 360 tour, some clients like it where they just want to have photos, and if you're just using it to do photos, maybe then you could do a couple extra places per day. But again, you are still limited to the battery. Now let's compare what the cost of doing those 60 scans would be against, say, an iGuide. Because an iGuide, like I said, it doesn't actually have the monthly membership or the monthly, doesn't have the monthly subscription fee, but it does have a processing fee. And for each place that it processes, it's going to charge you $33 US for a 1,500 square foot place. And the cost goes up from there. So if you were to do 60 places using an iGuide per month at that rate, we're looking at 60 times 33. We're looking at around $2,000 that you're going to be paying just for the processing fees. So in that first month that you're working, if you do 60 projects, you're going to be paying around $2,000 for the processing. Plus, you're also going to be paying around $2,500 for the machine. So you're looking at an initial output of around $4,500 in that first month to get going. And for Matterport, you're looking at spending at least $550 plus an additional $191 per month. So your first initial month output is going to be around $750. So based on that, comparing that to the Giraffe360 Pro, where it's $360 to get started on your first month, I would say that's a pretty good deal. And here's the thing. If you want to try this out, use the voucher code RobMoroto to get 10% off. So let's wrap this all up, okay? So my biggest issues with the Giraffe360 are the amount of time that it takes, and then as well the measurements. I can't use this for my real estate work in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, simply because it doesn't follow the strict measurement requirements that our industry needs. And therefore, I can't use it for that niche market. But I can use it for things like Airbnbs, rental units, and any other kind of commercial need. So I'm sure that businesses would like to see this as well. It's very well put together. It's a good looking machine. It comes out with a very polished product that is consistent with the quality that we see out there from other real estate photographers. So this is going to be a very, very easy way for anybody who wants to just get into this industry to sign the subscription, get their camera, get out there and start working right away, because A, it doesn't take much training. B, it's quick, easy, and they do all the legwork for you. And all you have to do is go out there and sell it. Yes, I would recommend this for anybody out there that's trying to get into this industry. And if I'm asked the question, would I use this in my company? I guess the answer is yes, I would. I would provide this as a lower cost alternative to our standard photography and measurements and iGuide. And we would restrict it simply to people who are using it for Airbnb or rentals. It's also a good opportunity to be able to get our new photographers into a place where they can start using this, and while it's taking the scans, they can practice taking photos using the DSLR. So yes, I think I will bring this in as a product for our company, but limited again to the rental and non-real estate side. So who else should this be used for? Let's be honest about this. Bigger real estate teams? Why not? If you have a larger real estate team and your area doesn't require your measurements to be third party and you don't require your measurements to follow a strict guideline, then this may be for you. You may be able to just get your assistant to go out there and measure and photograph all of your properties for you. Huh. Could this be the technology that puts us out of business? Anyways, thanks for watching. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear what you think of the final product here. And we'll see. Let's see where Giraffe360 Pro goes from here. And if there's any updates, I'll let you know.